Okay, everybody, I need everyone to turn to page 106, 106 in their reading book, 106. Yes.
I flipped right to it.
What?
I flipped right to it.
Oh, you flipped right to it? Fun. So that means you're all prepared for the next module. So we're starting a whole new module today. And boys and girls, let's look at the module title. It says, use your words. So in this module, you're going to be reading stories and poems that show the importance of words and how people use them. Now, what do you know about the importance of words and how people use words to tell feelings, thoughts, and ideas? What do you know about that? Yes, Evelyn.
It's a good way to show how you feel.
It's a good way to show how you feel. What else do you know about the importance of words? Does anybody else have any ideas? Olivia?
Some words rhyme.
Some words rhyme. They do rhyme. Some words do rhyme. Anything else that you want to share about the importance of words? Yes, Lucas.
Words will make you understand the text.
Words help you understand the text. Yes, Olivia.
Words show how people are feeling.
They show how people are feeling. Yes, Evelyn.
You can write and draw, tell people things.
Yes, you can write how and tell people things. Very, very good. Now, let's look. What do you think it means, the title of this module, Use Your Words? What do you think that means, use your words? What kind of meaning does that have, use your words? What do you think that means? What do you think that means, Hector, use your words? Do you think that has any meaning? Use your words? What do you think that means to you? If somebody says to you, use your words, Hector, what do you think that means?
Kind of like say your own words.
What do you think it means?
Kind of like
Saying your words. Rose? Just talk. Yes, just talk. What else? Do you have more to add?
Saying words that you're familiar with.
Saying words you're familiar with. Olivia?
Show your feelings.
Show your feelings. Very good. Sometimes it reminds me of, when you have toddlers, and toddlers sometimes instead of using their words, they might hit, right? And so what do you say to them? You say, use your words instead, to say that they're unhappy about something instead of hitting. You say, use your words. That's what that reminds me of. Now, boys and girls. So it also might be an encouragement for you to use your words to tell stories. It's fun to tell stories, isn't it, boys and girls? To tell maybe stories. How many of you tell stories about when you were little? Do you ever remember stories from when you're little and then share stories about when you're little? Those are using your words. Very nice. So boys and girls, let's look here on page 106. There's a quote on the bottom. It says, the limits of my language means the limits of my world. And that is by Ludwig Wittgenstein. Oh my. What do you think that means about how people use words and how words can open up the world to the reader? That really reminds me of something. I wonder if it reminds you of anything. Evelyn?
So you know what everything is about in the story?
So you know what everything is about in the story? Yes. Does it remind you of anything else? It reminds me, I don't know if you remember this, but we read a story about somebody last year who didn't have words. And her world was very dark and very limited because she didn't have words for things. And how when she had got words for things, her whole world opened up. Do you remember who that person was? Does anybody remember who that person was? who lived in kind of a dark world where she didn't have words for the simplest objects, like she didn't even know what water was called. She didn't even have a word for the word water. Do you remember who that was? Evelyn?
Is that girl? I don't remember this.
You don't remember her name? Lucas?
I know who it is, but I can't remember the name.
Do you remember her name? Helen Keller? Do you remember her name? And when we talked about her, we talked about how important it was to have words for things, because then when you have words, you can put the words to the feelings, and that helped her so much to be able to communicate. And that changed her whole life, didn't it, being able to communicate? Do you think maybe the limits of my language means the limits of her world? Do you remember how limited Helen's world was? And then her teacher came and it opened up the whole world to Helen. And this is exactly what this saying or this sentence, this quote reminds me of. How limited your world would be if you didn't have words. So the more words we know, the more ways we can learn about and understand the world. And that's what happened with Helen. So the more words we have, the more we can know, the more we can understand about the world around us. That's why it's important that we read. The more you read, boys and girls, the more words you encounter. It's so interesting that happens. So let's look on page 107. It says, essential question. How do people use words to express themselves? Now when we're saying express, we mean to state your feelings, your opinions, or ideas. So how do people use words to tell about themselves? That's what we want to know. How do people use words to tell about themselves? What do people do to use words to tell about themselves? Santiago, how do people use words to tell about themselves? What do they do? Are there ways people do that? What do? They describe themselves. What else do they do? Evelyn?
They make people understand what they're trying to tell each other.
Yeah, they make people understand with their words. Gabe, are there any other ways that people tell people about themselves using words? How? What do they do? Can you write stories about yourself? Is that a way you use words to tell people about yourself? Can you write a story describing something about yourself? Can you write an autobiography? Remember, that's a story about your life. You can write a story about your life. So then you could tell people about yourself. Very good. So boys and girls, I have got a video called Use Your Words, and I'm going to play for you. And we're going to listen to that story. Or we're going to listen to that video anyhow. I gotta get that in here. So let's watch that video. having some problems with the video, so we'll have to watch the video later. In the meantime, it is not that important to what we're doing, honestly, the video. So let's go to words about using words. It says the words in the chart below help you talk and write, so we're turning the page. We're on page 108. The words in the chart below will help you talk and write about the selections in the module. Which words have you seen before? Which words are new to you? Add to the vocabulary network on page 109 by writing synonyms, antonyms, and related words and phrases for each word. After you read each selection in this module, come back to the vocabulary network and keep building. Add more ovals if you need to. So we have some very interesting words. Some of these words you may have heard, some of them you may not have heard. So let's go over these new words that we have here. So I want us to do that. So let's find those words. Oh no, those are not them. So we're not there yet. But let's look at our words anyhow. So we have got the word express. See the words express? When you express yourself, you show what you feel and think. What you feel and think. Express is a verb. Their smiles express that they are happy to be at the party. Don't they look happy? Express. Expression. Express. You express your feelings with words. Express. Everybody say express. Express. Okay? Next we have the word convey. Everybody say convey. Convey is a verb. When you convey information or feelings, you communicate or you make an idea understandable to someone. Convey. So the teacher will convey what he expects of all of his students. Convey. I'm going to convey to you the importance of paying attention to our new vocab words. Convey. Convey. Everybody say convey.
Convey.
Convey. That's $1 million word. Next we have the word chronicle. Chronicle. So a chronicle, that's a noun, and it is a story or an account of a series of events. Oh, somebody in the other class told me they read a chronicle about the journey of Lewis and Clark. Here's my sentence. We read a chronicle about how Sacagawea helped Lewis and Clark travel west. And because I read that sentence, they had read a chronicle about the same journey. Chronicle. Everybody say chronicle. Chronicle. So a chronicle is a story or an account of a series of events. Sometimes newspapers have that in their title. The such and such chronicle. Because they are providing an account about the news. A chronicle. Chronicle. Then we have the word creative. Oh, everybody's heard that word. Who in here is creative? Oh, all the hands are going up. Creative. Creative is an adjective. Now, if you're creative, you can imagine ideas and invent new things. Creative. Artists are very creative people. Creative. Everybody say creative. Creative. Very good. So here's what we're going to do. Now, we have a word web here, a vocabulary word web. And let's try to think of one word that means the same thing as creative. What's a word that means the same thing as creative? Yes.
Artistic.
Artistic. Let's write the word artistic in the web next to by creative. Artistic. We're just going to put one word in. Artistic. artistic and creative. Okay? Now, express. Remember, express, boys and girls, has to do with saying your feelings. When you express yourself, you show what you are feeling. What would be a good word that means the same? An antonym for express. Yes?
Excited.
What?
Excited.
Excited, I don't know, that's really not an antonym for express. When you express, you show what you feel and think. What would be a word that means the same thing as express? Because you're not necessarily, you may not always be excited when you're expressing your feelings, Lucas. Yes?
Show.
Show, yeah, you show. Let's write show. S-H-O-W, show. Oh, let's go to the word chronicle. Chronicle, remember a chronicle is a story or account of a series of events. What would be a synonym for chronicle? A synonym for chronicle. A chronicle is a story or an account of a series of events. Bianca, what do you think would be a good synonym for chronicle? Story, perfect. You read my mind. For chronicle, let's write the word story. For chronicle. And our very last word is the word convey. When we convey information or feelings, you communicate or make an idea understandable to someone. What word would mean the same thing as convey? Yes?
Communicate.
Communicate, that's perfect. Communicate. Let's write the word communicate. Communicate for convey. That's what you do when you convey. You communicate. Excellent. Very, very good. Communicate. So that is the beginning of our new module, boys and girls.